Teamity team.
I have a little bit of breaking news for all of you. My prediction is that the overall stock market, the world's largest casino, is about to go higher, which is actually a little bit more impressive than it might sound because we literally just hit another new all-time high. So basically, as we're going into this final week of trading in the month of July, which has been lights out thus far, I think it's about to get that much more impressive because we got some hot news right off the press from the President of the United States and also our friends across the pond in Europe that they just struck a deal. So in this video, I'm going to be going over all of the details of everything you need to know about this deal, the upcoming trading week in general, and I also want to touch on one potential thing that might be throwing a wrench into all of this. But very quickly, before we get into all that, if you enjoy these types of market breakdowns, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. With all that being said, let's rock. When the market officially closed on Friday, July the 25th, it became very apparent that the bull camp was once again smashing records. S&P 500 posts fifth straight record close this week, powered by solid earnings. So the overall stock market, the S&P 500, a hair below 6,400. The Nasdaq also hitting a new all-time high of 23.3. And even though we didn't hit a new all-time high, I do want to point out that Bitcoin is still looking pretty dang good. Granted, on Friday it wasn't, but as you could tell from the news that we just got, things are looking awesome. And of course, I want to get into that news, but very quickly, just so you can kind of see what's been going on. Pretty much, we've been getting these slow grinds throughout the trading days. We're seeing that in the SPY, the Qs, even the Russell. Right now, Bitcoin's looking pretty good. Just got a nice multi-$1,000 pop, and it's all because of this hot breaking news. The EU and US reach a deal to avoid Trump tariff hike before deadline. And just like that, bada bing, bada boom, the bull camp has another reason to buy. But I do want to point out, going into this meeting, it was a little bit tensions. President Trump says there's a 50-50 chance of the US-EU trade deal, and we will, quote unquote, probably know in an hour. So apparently we were on the right side, the bullish side of that 50-50, and we have some amazing news. Trump announces EU trade deal with 15% tariffs. President Donald Trump and the European Commission president announced that the US has reached a trade deal with the European Union. Quote unquote, it's a very powerful deal. It's a very big deal. It's the biggest of all the deals. Now, I don't really know how many more adjectives we could put into that, but obviously it's a pretty big deal, and it's far better than the previously threatened 30% tariffs. Now, for those of you who are more sticklers for details and you want more insights into what this deal really is or isn't, here's what you need to know. The deal includes agreement to open trade at 0% tariff, EU to buy up to $750 billion of US energy, EU to purchase quote-unquote vast amounts of US auto, and tariffs on automobiles reduced to 15%, and Trump referred to this as the biggest deal ever reached. And a little bit after this in the commentary, there was even discussion of the European Union investing in the US to the tune of $600 billion. So now with all that being said, let me put a quick pause on this video and ask all of you, who do you think won in this trade deal? Do you think the US won? Do you think the EU win? Do you think we're both winners? Do you think you're both losers? Let me know in a comment below. I would love to get your insights. Moving on to a not so distantly related topic, the trade deal between the US and China. We got some news there. Breaking, the US and China have agreed to extend their tariff pause for another 90 days. And just like that, two of our largest trading partners, we just got some phenomenal news, which is why I believe it's a pretty easy, evident call out that the highest probability pathway of this upcoming week is that yes, we at some point will be seeing another new all-time high. But with me saying that and putting it out into the ether, there are other things you should strongly consider besides just those headlines. For example, over the past 20 years worth of data, the final week of July from a seasonal standpoint ends up being a little bit more choppy. Not necessarily bullish or bearish in average, in aggregate, but this is what it ends up being, just kind of a choppy mess. In the past 5 years, you can actually see that the final week is slightly bearish, and if we look at the last 3 years, it's actually a little bit more bearish. Now, once again, is this the end all be all? Of course not, but it gives you those ideas of tailwinds, headwinds, and just gives you an idea of how this exact time period has played out in years prior. I would argue What's really going to have an impact on this upcoming week more so relates to Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed. Fed is set for contentious debate as investors eye fall rate cut. So basically this upcoming week, we have the FOMC meeting, the Federal Open Market Committee meeting, which is when all the voting Fed members come together and decide what they want to do with the rate cut. It's technically a 2-day meeting. It starts on Tuesday. We get the results on Wednesday. Wednesday is the second day. The interest rate decision of what they are going to announce to the public technically comes out at 2 p.m. And then Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, always does his press conference at 2:30. Once again, these are all in East Coast times. But what I need you to know going into this week, as of right now, the Fed fund rate is set at 4.25%. And currently the market is betting with about 97.4% confidence, at least at the time that I'm filming this video, that we will be staying at 4.25%, as in the market is pretty confident, 98% confident that we're not going up, we're not going down, and we will just be coasting sideways. Now, based on what they do, what they don't do, on what they say, on what they don't say, the market could easily go crazy in either direction. So please pay attention to that. Wednesday is going to be nuts. But before we get there, I do want to let you know there's a whole host of other things to pay attention to. Tuesday, July 29th, early in the morning, we're going to be getting both consumer confidence and the JOLTS job openings. Of course, Wednesday in the afternoon, we're going to be getting all that good Fed stuff. But before that, ADP non-farm employment change and the GDP numbers. Then on Thursday, we're going to get the PCE price index. So we're getting an idea of what's going on with inflation. And then on Friday, the first Friday of a new month. So of course, we're going to be getting the unemployment numbers. So pretty much a very extremely busy week, and all this stuff massively important to pay attention to. But I'm telling you, this Wednesday announcement, the discussion and how the market reacts to it definitely could be something super supportive, or as I alluded to at the start of this video, that could be throwing a whole wrench into this situation based on what is or isn't said. So please pay attention. There's no one on this planet that can tell you how this is going to go. I think most people who are being reasonable are saying these are just high volatility environments, so please be careful. And just when you thought there was enough gasoline on this particular bonfire, someone came in with more. We are in earnings season. On the screen right now, these are the major ones you should probably be paying attention to this upcoming week. There's a good chance you're invested in them or trading them, or at least just generally paying attention to them. There's a couple ones that I'm personally really paying attention to. Tuesday, United Health Group, SoFi, PayPal, Boeing, UPS, and you have Spotify. After the market closes, Visa and Starbucks. On Wednesday, Meta, Microsoft, Robinhood. On Thursday, CVS, Roblox, MasterCard, and then Thursday gets really crazy after market close with Apple, Amazon, Strategy, aka MicroStrategy, Coinbase, Reddit, Riot, Cloudflare, Roku, and then we even have some energy plays on Friday, ExxonMobil and Chevron. So yes, go to eWhispers, screenshot this, write it down, or of course, don't forget, you have a little cheat sheet. I make this newsletter for free for everyone. It comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. I break down what's going on in the market. I give you that cheat sheet of the earnings. I highlight the ones that I think you're really going to care about. I give you also an idea of all the major macroeconomic events for the upcoming week, and then I give you the seasonality of each individual trading day. So once again, this is 100% free, mattkohrs.locals.com. It's in the description of the video, so make sure you check that out. But overall, the bulls have clearly been in control. We're just taking out new high after new high after new high after new high, and the news we just got about the US and EU trade deal, yes, I strongly believe we're going to be seeing another new high. The question is, what's happening later this week that could have a big impact? Of course, we all have our own thoughts and opinions, but I truly believe as an active trader, that's exactly what you should be doing. React to the situation rather than predicting. But once again, those are just my own thoughts, and I would love to hear from you in a comment below. That's what I have for you now. I appreciate you making it to this point in the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.